Everett, a silhouette against the russet hues of the auburn dusk, stood before the old warehouse. It was a skeletal monument, a concrete and iron titan overgrown with tendrils of ivy, the relentless heralds of nature reclaiming its territory. The dying light of day seeped into the yawning abyss of its broken windows, the dark, hollow sockets of a long-dead behemoth. He felt the ghosts of the past murmuring in the chilling wind, a spectral choir whispering tales of a bygone era. His gaze softened as he turned his attention to his worn leather notebook, its pages bearing the weight of the town's collective fear. Ghostly sightings, they'd told him, in the old warehouse. Can't be explained. His role, he knew, was to bring rationality where fear had cast a shadow. But as he looked at the looming edifice, something stirred within him. Not fear, but a kinship born of shared solitude. Inside a local diner, Everett sat opposite Marion, Auburn's oldest resident, a woman whose eyes sparkled with the fire of countless years and countless stories. Her age-lined face, lit by the warm, mellow glow of an antique lamp, was a map to Auburn's past. "That warehouse," she began, her voice a weathered melody, "it's been there longer than most folks can remember, was a hive of activity once, a symbol of prosperity." She looked into her steaming cup, as if trying to discern the past from the swirling coffee. "And now," she sighed, "it's nothing but a specter, whispering of times better forgotten." He listened, his steady gaze meeting her wistful eyes. He noted the tremor in her voice, the cryptic glint in her gaze. His past, shadowed by psychological torment, had instilled in him an understanding of silent pleas and hidden traumas. He felt the weight of the town's unspoken fear reflected in her eyes, a mirror to the town's haunted soul. "That's why we called you, Everett," she continued, her voice barely a whisper. "We don't just need answers. We need peace." She seemed to shudder slightly as she pronounced the last word, a shiver of apprehension running through her. Everett reached across the table, placing his hand over hers in a comforting gesture. He was no stranger to fear, the kind that gnawed at the edges of one's sanity, leaving one feeling exposed, vulnerable. "I understand, Marion," he said, his voice a steady anchor amidst the ebb and flow of her fears. "I'll do my best." As he exited the diner, the abandoned warehouse stood in the distance, a brooding silhouette against the ink-black night, seemingly pulsating with an eerie energy under the cold gaze of the moon. A gentle shiver traced its way down his spine, but he shrugged it off, his resolve unwavering. Tomorrow, he decided, he would step into the mouth of the ghostly beast, confront the shadow that hung heavy over Auburn. Unknowingly, he had embarked on a path that spiraled far beyond the known and the explainable, a path that led towards an abyss, teeming with dark, unknowable truth that would forever change him. As he disappeared into the night, the whispers of the past echoed in the cold, haunting the quiet streets of Auburn, heralding the dawn of an unsettling journey into the unseen. As the first tendrils of morning light grappled with the stubborn darkness, Everett found himself standing at the edge of the abyss, the maw of the derelict warehouse. It stood there, patient and enduring, its silence louder than the whispers that clung to its ancient walls. Within the spectral belly of the beast, the ghosts of the past were more than echoes. They were tactile, interwoven with the very air he breathed, thick with the scent of aged wood, rusted iron, and a hidden, omnipresent dread. The decrepit structure groaned under its own weight, a chorus of unsettling lullabies reverberating in the otherwise silent dawn. Here in the heart of the phantom hive, he met Daniel, a local, ragged around the edges and roughened by life. But in his eyes was a spark of curiosity that mirrored Everett's own. "I've seen them, you know," he began, his voice a barely audible rasp. "The ghostly figures, the eerie lights. I've heard the chilling laughter and the bone-rattling sobs." His hushed words curled around Everett like spectral tendrils, an unseen current pulling him deeper into the mysterious abyss. He listened, his instincts sharp, his empathy heightened by his own painful past. Here was a man haunted not by ghosts of the supernatural kind, but by the elusive specters of understanding and acceptance. In the dim, flickering light of his torch, he scoured the dust-laden corners of the warehouse, every creaking floorboard, every whispering wall echoing the cryptic tales Daniel had woven. With each step, a primal part of him recoiled, recognizing the abyss's stare, yet his curiosity, as insatiable as the void, pushed him further into the heart of the enigma. As the sun began its descent, painting the auburn skyline with hues of impending dread, he left the spectral confines of the warehouse. His mind was a whirl of thoughts, wrestling with the inexplicable mysteries of the day. The town of Auburn, the warehouse, Daniel, and their intertwined narratives all pulsed with a disconcerting rhythm, a morbid symphony that hummed on the edges of his consciousness. He returned to his lodgings, the spectral echoes of the warehouse clinging to his senses. As he stared into the heart of the night, he couldn't help but feel an alien sensation, a pull almost imperceptible, a thread woven from shadows and secrets, urging him to embrace the unknown, to step into the cosmic abyss and unravel the truth. And as the moon, the silent guardian of the night, cast a pallid glow over Auburn, he was unknowingly poised on the precipice of a revelation that transcended earthly boundaries. The murmurs of the past were about to collide with the shadows of the abyss, beckoning him towards a reality that blurred the lines between the natural and the supernatural, between the known and the unknowable. Days melted into nights as Everett continued his spectral vigil at the warehouse, the echo of his footfall a constant companion in his solitary investigation. The town of Auburn was caught in the throes of a paradox, caught between the mundanity of daily life and the whispered fear of the unknown. And he was at its heart, the conduit linking the visible world with the unseen abyss. In his dreams, he found himself roaming the spectral landscapes of the warehouse. Ethereal figures, once lost in the veil of shadows, now emerged into the flickering glow of his dreamscape. Alien, yet familiar, they seemed to recognize his presence, whispering secrets that teased the edge of his comprehension. One evening, over a quiet dinner at the local tavern, he found himself discussing his findings with Deborah, Auburn's librarian, a woman of wisdom and quiet grace. She listened, her gaze intense, and her attention undivided. His tales of ethereal whispers and spectral figures resonated within her, stirring memories of old folklore she had read. "There are stories," she began, her voice as soft as the flickering candlelight between them, "of travelers from realms far beyond our understanding. They are neither ghosts nor spirits, but entities that exist outside the realm of human comprehension." Deborah's words, like an echo from a forgotten dream, fell over him, stirring a realization within. His findings, the spectral phenomena, the eerie whispers, they weren't mere hauntings. They were breadcrumbs leading him on a trail that spiraled away from the familiar world into the alien realm of the dark travelers. As the night descended upon Auburn, he returned to the warehouse, his resolve hardened by Deborah's revelations. There, in the heart of the abyss, he found himself once more in the company of the dark travelers. They were more tangible now, their presence an oppressive weight against his consciousness. They showed him visions, twisted and bizarre, mirroring his past, his trauma, and his desperation to repay his nebulous debt. His sense of self began to fade, his boundaries crumbling under the relentless pressure of the otherworldly consciousness. The tormenting specter of his past was fading, replaced by the all-encompassing acceptance of the dark travelers. Their empathy, grotesque and alien, bore a strange comfort, a sense of belonging that he had never experienced. The town of Auburn slept under the watchful gaze of the stars while its solitary guardian plunged deeper into the heart of the abyss. As he emerged from the warehouse, he felt changed, touched by the unknown. He carried the weight of a strange, newfound purpose, the burden of a choice that loomed on the horizon. The stage was set for the final act of this macabre dance. As the echoes of the past grew fainter, the shadows of the abyss grew stronger, slowly enveloping him. The thin veil between reality and the unseen was about to be torn, beckoning him towards a dark destiny that promised an end to his torment, an end to his debt. An end that paradoxically marked the beginning of a new, terrifying journey into the heart of the cosmic unknown. In the surreal pre-dawn hour, when night reluctantly made way for the inevitable day, Everett found himself standing before the warehouse, its silent silhouette bearing witness to his turmoil. His reflection in the darkened windows was a distorted echo of the man he once was, now a ghostly shadow on the cusp of a terrifying metamorphosis. Within the darkened belly of the warehouse, the air felt heavier, laced with an anticipation that mirrored his own. His steps echoed in the cavernous expanse, each footfall a punctuation in his tale of transformation. The whispering silence of the warehouse was soon broken by the murmurs of the dark travelers, their voices like a slow cosmic tide lapping against the shores of his consciousness. Everett, the compassionate investigator, the tortured debtor, found himself drawn to their voices, their visions. They showed him glimpses of the abyss, their realm beyond the confines of human comprehension. It was chaos and order intertwined, a realm where time twisted and curled upon itself, where space expanded and contracted in a ceaseless rhythm. In its bizarre spectacle, he found a grotesque solace, a promise of an end to his earthly torments. He returned to Auburn under the dawn's first light, his once familiar world now imbued with the alien hues of the abyss. He sought out Marion, his confession a somber melody amidst the orchestra of her fears. "I'm not fighting them, Marion. I'm joining them." His declaration hung in the still morning air, a chilling testament to his impending journey. She looked at him, her eyes wide, the fragile veil of her composed demeanor fractured by his revelation. And yet in her gaze, he saw not only fear, but also an inkling of understanding. "Will it bring us peace, Everett?" she asked, her voice a tremulous whisper. "Yes," he replied, his gaze steady, his voice echoing the strange calm that had taken root in his heart. "I believe it will." As twilight fell over Auburn, he once more ventured into the warehouse, the mouth of the abyss now a welcome embrace. The dark travelers were there, their formless forms a flickering dance of shadows and specters, a hauntingly beautiful tableau that defied earthly description. He felt the pull, a silent call that vibrated in his bones, resonated in his soul. It was an invitation, a path to his debt's fulfillment, a way to become an instrument of the dark travelers, a conduit for their otherworldly power. He stepped forward, his humanity a fading echo as he succumbed to the allure of the abyss. In the heart of the spectral warehouse, under the indifferent gaze of the cosmic expanse, he embraced his destiny. As he disappeared into the otherworldly realm, the warehouse pulsed with a strange energy, a final echo of his journey from the mundane to the cosmic, from debtor to savior, from human to something else. The tale ends not with a clash of good and evil, but an acceptance of the complex dance of cosmic forces. Everett, Auburn, the warehouse, all became a part of the boundless cosmic canvas, a testament to the terrifying and intriguing reality of the universe. The whispering winds carried the last echoes of his tale, his transformation from a kind and selfless human to a traveler of the dark, a spectral figure forever etched in the annals of Auburn's haunted history. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.